Good morning, friends. It's Sunday. I think it's, what is it, July the 9th? And I'm here to give some updates. I've been trying to do updates, but then I never finish my vlogs. So here's some updates for you. Look at this. I finally was able to get Harry to let me get a table and chair set. I've been wanting one since we moved in. And he finally said yes. We were going to put this over here, but I thought the swing would look better over there, so we did that. I gave an update about my awning to the swing. Look at this. It just got a hole in it. And underneath, it's not really wanting to hold off moisture anymore. So I went and I ordered a new one from this company. This is actually the third awning. It came with one when we bought the swing. And I think we bought the swing in 2008 or 2009. And after a year or two, we had to buy another one. Then we got another one. That's this one. And now we need a third one. But when I went to replace this one, the same company that I replaced it with, I think because this swing is so old that I'm having a hard time finding a company to do this. So I'm going to search around with some other companies. Anyway, they did send me a tarp, but I put it on. It was too small. So, I mean, it was way too small. I couldn't get it on. So, anyway, I'm working on that. So, we got another carpet here for the swing. We have Alex's house over there. I kind of had to move all things around because of getting this table. I had to move, flower pots over there, and this was over there. Actually, I moved it there. Look, ta-da! The pergola is finally painted. Brian painted that, and we put this away. Yesterday, we got this going the wrong way. There we go. That goes to the front. So he did a decent job painting that. So let's go down here. Whoops. So here, let me show you the table and chair set from this way here. So let's go out and look at the garden. I think I do have my garden updates on the camera here. So I'll show you some of the ones that I have already taken, and then I will show you today. You're not going to believe it, but I've got a lot of dirt and mulch and stuff coming from over there from doggies and people bringing it up here. But can you tell that I did something? I painted, and I was going to paint the whole deck, but I decided not to paint the whole deck because there's just too much to take off. And really, the deck's not that bad. See, like the paint over here, it's still good. It's dirty. This is where we had the toy box and stuff. It just needs to, have the pressure washer on it. See? It's all still good over there. It was just all bad in here and down in here because we used to bring our wood, when we had the wood burning stove, we'd bring it up here and the wheelbarrow would strip the paint. So I just went and I touched up in here. And as you can see here, because the paint's newer, it's going to get weather worn and everything, and then it'll blend with there. But you can see this is where I stopped. See, because all the rest of this is all good. So I only just painted where I needed to. I did go ahead and paint most of this down in here and that step there. So let's go to the yard. I don't know if you can hear the birds, but I love the birds singing in the morning. So I put my chase down here in case anybody wanted to lay out in the sun. I was going to put it away, but we got Alex's pool situation. It's actually supposed to be on the tarp, but when the boys went to fill it yesterday, they put it out in the yard. I don't know why. I don't know if I showed you those chairs. I bought these chairs so we could sit outside with him, and because it's not level and because it's all mulch, when we would sit down in the chair, I just have blocks underneath 4 of the, the legs of the chair, and it looked really stupid. So I had a whole bunch of those blocks because I use them to hold tarps down in my garden for the fall and winter, and I just decided to bring them over and make like a little patio. So anyway, but yeah, that pool is supposed to be over here, and we usually fill both of those pools. So a couple people could sit there while Alex is playing in his pool, and if somebody wants to lay in the sun here, they can lay there in the sun. I brought his whatchamacallit, sliding board down. So there's this, and then Brian finally got to the back of the pergola. There's a couple boards that are in between, like the other boards, that you can't really get to them. It's difficult, so we're probably just going to leave those go. The last several weeks, my hydrangea has just been absolutely beautiful. And it still is pretty, but some of the flowers are dying off. Look at my garden. Look at, you can't even hardly even walk in here anymore. Everything was spaced so nicely. You could get in and out of here. Oh, look at my cats up there. And we have had rain. Seriously, it's like it doesn't stop raining. And so, yeah, the garden is like a jungle now. I did come in here. There's some little weeds in here that I can get with my little weeder thing that I have, but the ground's just too wet to get it out. This, I don't know if this is my butternut squash or if this is my zucchini that's right there, but it's just gone crazy. We have picked some cucumbers. We have even more cucumbers. Even cucumbers there. Cucumbers inside there. These are some of the bigger weeds that I pulled yesterday. I'm letting them dry out and I'm going to throw them out here. The zucchini is really big, but the disappointing thing is we've only picked one zucchini, and I don't know if there's any more zucchini growing in there. There's been lots of flowers, but there hasn't been evidently bees to pollinate the flowers. I don't know. I'm going to give this another week because the flowers are starting to die off. And if we don't get any more zucchini, I'm going to pull this out because it's taking over, as you can see. And it's unnecessary space. Zucchini is usually done by the end of July anyway. And can you believe we're going into the second week of July? Or is this the third week of July? No, today's the 9th. Yeah. Wow. Time is just really slipping away. But behind this zucchini, all of that is my butternut squash, and it's starting to loop over there, and there are lots of butternut squash on those plants there. So the butternut squash is doing good. This zucchini, it didn't do good. You would think with this great big huge thing I would have a ton of zucchini. I don't. That's the bad thing. These are beans in here. They're doing well. Our corn is past our head. 4th of July, they say corn should be knee-high by 4th of July, which was 5 days ago. When I came out here before 4th of July, it was up to our waist. Now it's over our head. Seriously, within just several days, it's now over our head. And that's just because of all the rain. And these all back in here, these are all beans. The beans are doing good. The peppers, I'm disappointed with the peppers. We've only got one pepper plant. Some of them fell over. Even though I mounded dirt up around them, they still fell over. So they're laying on the ground over there. It's just really these 1, 2, 3 or 4 right there. So kind of disappointed about the peppers. And then again, look at the corn. And the grapevine, it's continuing to grow all the way over there. This is the pumpkin vine that's coming out. We got to get in here and pull this through and kind of loop it around inside there so that pumpkins aren't growing out in the yard. The pumpkin's doing good. It's now getting its flowers. The watermelon is over there. I don't think the watermelon's going to do anything. And this dapple willow needs to be trimmed up really bad. Okay. Here's the grapes. There's the grapes. So the grapevine's doing very well. As you can see, it's even coming out into the yard a little bit. So anyhow, so there's the garden. Once the garden started to get all this rain, I mean, I was out here watering anyway and it was growing just fine. But the rain, for some reason, just, I don't know, it's like a jungle now out there. And I wanted to show you the flowers. As soon as Ellie moves, Ellie, see how pretty? I just need to get those weeds up. So I'm going to go back now, have some coffee, and give you an update. And our grass needs to be cut in the worst way. It should have already been cut by now. But guess what? Our tractor is in the shop. Our brand new tractor that we just got last spring is in the shop. Yes, I will have to tell you about that. Okay, so I brought my coffee out here. So let's start with the tractor, because that's where I left off. I think I had mentioned maybe in my last video that I had of updates. Maybe I didn't, I don't know, because like I said, I've done so many different vlogs, starting vlogs, but then I have never been able to finish them. But anyway, I think it was in, no, it had to have been in June. I was cutting my grass. I was in the backyard here, and I looked down and it looked like my wheel was getting to roll right off. It was all wonky and wobbly, and it's like you couldn't even stop the tractor fast enough, and you know, it fell off. And so we put it back on, and Harry made it a temporary thing because since May, he had back-to-back meetings every single week from like the second week of May to the end of June. He was gone every single week. He'd come home like on the weekends, pack a suitcase, and he was leaving again for meetings. And so he just did a temporary thing, and I was just overly cautious. You know, I'm usually cautious when I'm cutting my grass anyway. Overly cautious now to make sure that the wheel wouldn't come off. So the last couple times that we've cut the grass, Harry's cut it. And he said a couple weeks ago, he said, you know, this wheel, it's come off, and the other one looks like it wants to come off now. And so Adam and Harry put the wheel back on again. And I told him, I said, you're just going to have to call somebody now to come pick it up. Something's wrong. So, yeah, we had to take it in to small engine repair shop. And they had to replace like almost every single thing that has to do with your wheels and the drive shaft and everything. Seriously, it's going to cost us $319. So that's our tractor situation. So they've had our tractor since Wednesday. So I'm hoping tomorrow, Monday, they call us to let us know they're dropping the tractor off, because we got to cut our grass, as you can see. Okay. There's been a lot of craziness going on here. Usually summertime I slow down vlogging anyway, because summer gets kind of crazy. You're out and about doing things. And this has just been a crazy year. I told you guys in May that my friend had died, then my aunt died, Harry's uncle died, and Lucy got really sick. Our vet said that, you know, with the blood results, it was leukemia, because when dogs get leukemia, their blood counts are like Lucy's and everything. He even shared all of her test results with an oncologist, a vet oncologist, who works over at, I think, at Penn University. And she even concluded that it would have to be leukemia. Well, we were saddened, our hearts were broken, but you know me, I'm a Christian, and I'm a woman of faith and prayer. As a matter of fact, I was even thinking, and I even forget what it was now that happened, a couple years ago, I think it was, since something happened to Alex. Was he sick or something? I forget what it was that happened. And I made a video of it, and I think I titled it something, It's a Miracle, or something like that. So you can go back and find that video. I was thinking about that, and I just can't remember what it was now. But anyway, yeah, he was just healed. It's just like I started praying and he was just healed. Well, I started praying for Lucy because I don't want anything to happen with my Lucy. I love my Lucy. And the main thing that I was just pleading with God, and I said, please don't take her. Give us more time. Give us more time. Just please don't take her. So the vet had just said, she had 30 to 60 days. He says usually with leukemia, by the time that you find out about it, it's 30 to 60 days, and a lot of times it's 30 days. And I had even ordered her box to hold her ashes. I don't know in my last video if I had mentioned that or not. I came back from the vet. See, I can't even remember now what my last video, the contents was of that. But I had taken her to the vet. I came home, and the box was sitting outside of our garage. And I opened it, and it was her box and everything. So I just kept praying for her. We kept giving her medicine anyway. The vet said really the steroid and the pain medicine was just going to keep her comfortable. And it's like, no, I just don't want her to be comfortable. I want her well. I want more time. And I just kept telling God, please, I want more time. I want more time. And so when she finished the steroid, she started taking it in May, and it was for a month, so she finished it in June. And the vet said when she finishes it, bring her back in, and we'll do another blood test. They did another blood test, and they came back, and her bone marrow count, this is why they thought it was leukemia, because the bone marrow count was up like 80,000. 80,000. That is like really high. I think it's supposed to be down no higher than 5,000. Low range could be about 1,500. And the vet, he was even dumbfounded. He said, her level counts dropped. I said, oh, they did? Oh, well, then that's good. So what is the level count now? And then he told me what it was. And it was, I think, between the 1,500 and 5,000. It's in the normal range. And I said, so what are you saying? What are you saying? You're saying she doesn't have cancer now? She doesn't have leukemia? He says, what I'm saying is, and see, it's typical medical person. What I'm saying is her level count has mysteriously dropped. See, they always use mysterious. Mysteriously dropped, and we can't explain it. So if it's not leukemia, she had some mysterious illness. That's what he said. So anyway, let me show you Lucy. There she is. Lulu? Lou, come on. Over here. Lucy, come see Mommy. See, show everybody. You're looking good. She had even lost a couple pounds when I took her in that last time. This was, what was it? We took her to draw her blood, right, to draw her blood and to get more steroids and that. And she had lost a couple pounds. And so I thought, now she's on the decline, because that's what happens. Even with cancer patients, they begin to lose weight and everything. But she's put weight back on. Now, I don't know what her weight is. I'm assuming she put on probably at least a couple pounds that she lost, because she's not, her ribs were starting to show, where you could see her ribs a little bit. And they're just covered nicely. They're not showing anymore. So I know she's probably put on a couple pounds. She's eating like a horse. It's like all she wants to do is eat, 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 eat. And so she's on this other round of steroids. When this one is finished, it should finish hopefully by the end of the month, she goes back in for another blood test. And then we'll see what her levels are from there. So Lucy is eating and drinking and peeing and pooping all normally. She's running around like a crazy dog, like she always does. She's just her normal self. She's inquisitive, always wanting to be right there. You start petting another dog, she could be laying down, all comfortable. She gets up, she wants to come over for the loving too. She's got to be the center of attention. She's just her normal Lucy, bossy self. Seriously. So that's the update on Lucy. In the meantime, when we got this news about Lucy, this was in May, Harry started seeing the doctor in May because he hadn't been feeling well. He had lost weight, a lot of weight, like 20 pounds or whatever, from like February onward. He just wasn't feeling good. And he had no energy. It started out like the flu, like when he got sick in February, it's like the flu, and it's like the flu that never left. And so he's getting really concerned now. So in May, yeah, getting concerned now. That's men. They wait so long. So anyway, he went to the doctor and they started sending him for all the tests because they thought maybe cancer. So he went for all these. So the first test that came back, the white cell count, I think, was up a little bit, obviously, because it'll even go up if there's an infection in your body. And everything else seemed to be okay. But because the white cell counts were elevated, the doctor needed to pinpoint a little bit. They were saying ESR. ESR is, I forget what it stands for, but it means that you could have all different sorts of things, you know. It could be cancer, I think, you know, your thyroid, that, you know, just other things. But anyway, with that first set of testing that they had done and with the blood work and everything, it ruled out certain cancers, which was good. Then the doctor said, we need to, like the prostate, the colon, all of that, it was okay. He said, I need to send you now for another screening for your bladder and your kidneys, because you could have either kidney stones, you could have an infection, you could have tumors. So I got to send you for a sonogram. So he sent Harry for a sonogram for his bladder and his kidneys. And the doctor called that day. So, I mean, Harry went early in the morning, which was good, because then the doctor got the results. And by that afternoon, he called Harry so that Harry wouldn't be worrying. And he said, no tumors, no cancer, nothing. He said, what I'm thinking that it is, and this is one of the things that's part of that ESR, he said it could be an infection in the prostate. I think that's what he said. And he said when you get I guess an infection there, you have to treat it very aggressively. And so Harry was on an antibiotic. He had to finish that. Then he had to start another antibiotic. And the other antibiotic that he's on right now is a very potent, strong antibiotic, that it actually is an antibiotic that they give people that even have anthrax. So I will tell you what the doctor said. It matches exactly what the vet said about Lucy. It's a mysterious illness. So anyway, they're assuming that it's an infection. So he's been on this antibiotic. He has to take it for a long time. And Harry is feeling better, but he has some days that he gets sick to his stomach. And I think the biggest part of it, because Harry's lost so much weight. He was wearing a size 38 pants. He's down to a 36. He's lost so much weight that, you know, when you lose weight, first of all, you start feeling good and you don't want to eat, because if you eat, you're afraid you're going to gain your weight back. And he's been doing that. Oh, I don't want to eat too much. You know, I don't want to gain weight. And he's been eating a little bit. With all of his medicines that he takes for his high blood pressure and just other things, his diabetes, and then this very strong antibiotic. See, he takes all of this in the morning when he's getting his coffee, and he doesn't eat anything. And you have to eat when you're on meds, especially, I'm sure that antibiotic probably, I'm going to go look at the label. I think it probably will say take with food, because something that's very strong like that, you have to take it with food. And he doesn't. And so that will mess up your stomach. You will start feeling sick to your stomach. So I'm assuming the still feeling sick to your stomach is due from his lack of, eating. And he needs to increase eating. So this has been an ongoing thing since May. So we had, my friend died, my aunt died, Harry's uncle died. And Harry's uncle died in June, early June. But then, we had the thing going on with Lucy. Then we had all of this going on with Harry. And, when you're dealing with death, period, people you love, there's a lot of sadness and everything anyway, and you got to process these things. It's more difficult when the people are closer to you, like if it's your children or your spouse or your parents. But still, even losing aunts and uncles and a friend, and especially when it's all just back to back. If I would have just lost, my aunt, that would have been sad enough for me. But it was seriously, it's like a week and a half before my aunt died, my friend died. And it was like a couple weeks after my aunt died, then Harry's uncle dies, And Harry's uncle, I think I had mentioned in that video, Bad News, Harry's uncle was very precious to me. He wasn't just Harry's uncle, he was my uncle too. I really loved him. He was just a wonderful man. If you could only have known him. He was such a wonderful, wonderful man. Kind, very generous, very helpful, always just finding people to help. He was just a wonderful man. And so, he lived a long life. He was in his 90s. So, he lived a long life. But even still, it hurts, when somebody like that, he's been in my life. Harry and I will have been married for 33 years in September. And I had actually met his uncle while we were still dating. Because Harry would go over all the time. That's his favorite uncle. And so I've known Uncle Burton for like 33 years. And so he's been a part of my life, I'm 53, so for 20 years, he wasn't in my life, but then after he was. So the majority of my life, let's put it that way, he was in my life, and he was my uncle too. And just like my aunt, all of my family has been Harry's family, because Harry's family, they weren't all very close, and he's an only child and everything. And, my family's very close. We'd get together for all the holidays and stuff. And so, my family became his family. And whenever any of my family members have died, like my grandmothers and even my dad and that, Harry's always, very sad. Harry's just, he's very manly and macho. But when it comes to his feelings, Harry's a very sensitive person. He's a caring person, very much like his uncle. And when people die, especially people that he's respected, people that he's loved, he's not afraid to cry. Some men want to hold in their emotions. I can't cry. Harry will cry. And I think that that's good. So anyway, as I was saying, when people are dying anyway, and especially back to back, you have death, and then you have pending death, like with your pet, and then what's going on with Harry, and is it cancer, and thinking, what are we going to have to go through with that and everything. It sometimes gets to be a lot, and then there's another situation. I really can't talk about it now, but then that came about, and just other things that just go on with your life, other stresses, even things that like we had to get the plumber here, again, cut another hole in my ceiling again in my laundry room, and that's still not closed up yet, but the plumber told us to leave it open for a couple months to make sure, because he couldn't find a leak, but yet it was leaking because there was a water spot. But it was just like, even with all of this that's going on, and then it's like, oh no, not the plumber again. And then there was like something else, little things here and there that happen around your house, just regular life events that, I mean, I wouldn't have been thrilled if none of this was going on, none of the death or pending death or any of that. If none of this was going on, me with the plumber, it's like, again, the plumber, I would have been like that, but I would have been aggravated. This time I wasn't aggravated because it's just everything going on and the sadness and everything. It was just like, what else can go wrong? What else now? What else can go wrong? I've just had little things like that going on, and it gets to be a lot. And I don't know, a couple weeks ago, whatever it was, I remember Josiah and I were in the family room, and it was just us that was in there. We were talking, and because he looked at me and he says, "Mom, what's wrong?" I could tell something's wrong. Because, you try to hold it in, you're trying to carry on things, and not let anybody else have to be bothered with things. And I just told him, and I broke down and I just started crying. I said, it's this, and I started naming off things. Because I sat down and I made a list, seriously, of things that have been really going on even in the last couple of years. And I had a list of like 13 different things. I mean, big things. And so when I started rattling off things to him, I only just got to 5. And I said, there's this. And when I got to the 5th thing, it's like I didn't even feel like carrying on to say anything else to him, because I just told him, I said, it's just too much, Josiah. It's too much. It's too much for a person to take. And the thing is, there's a scripture in the Bible that says that God will not give us anything that we cannot bear. That's the key, that we cannot bear. And the Lord says that, He's with us. He's with us through everything. If we allow Him to do His work in our lives, then everything goes well, But people have taken that scripture and they say, God won't give us anything that we can't bear. No, that's not what the scripture says. The scripture says that God will not give us anything that we cannot bear. In other words, that sometimes it's for our own good. Okay, I think my battery died, and I don't even know where I left off. So let me just go back and recap. So, the Bible says that God will not give us anything that we cannot bear. In other words, what that is to mean, because God promises His people, and that's the other key, He promises His people, those that love Him, those that put their faith in Him, He is with them, even through all the everyday struggles, through everything that touches our life, it touches Him. When we're sad, He knows it, and He'll even be sad with us. When we're happy and rejoicing, He's happy and rejoicing too, But what makes us stronger people? What makes people even change from what they were to being a different person? It's the trials and the tribulations that we go through in this life. I remember when I was living in Chicago, and a friend of mine, we were walking down the street in our little downtown area, because we lived in a suburb of Chicago, and she was going through a very hard time with something, and she goes, Sandy, I wish I could just be strong like you, and I hear this a lot from people. I wish I could be strong like you. And we just started chit-chatting, and I started trying to say encouraging things to her, and then she said it again to me. She said, Sandy, I'm because I'm having a hard time getting through this, and I just wish I was a strong person like you. And I stopped dead in my tracks, and she stopped and turned around, looked at me, and I said to her, I said, I hear this from people a lot. Oh, Sandy, you're so strong. Oh, see it because, and that's the thing, there are strong people, and people think because others are strong that they were just born that way. They're just strong people and they could just get through things. No. And I told her that, and I said, you know what has made me strong? You don't know the crap in my life that I've had to deal with and to get through things. And some of these things I've even shared with you guys throughout the years. But that's what makes us strong. it's all these trials and tribulations that we go through in this life, because you have to endure these things. And these things are meant to build up your faith, to build up your character, to build up your integrity, to make us stronger people. And so, even for Sandy being as strong as she is, when back-to-back things are happening, along with other things that are still going on in your life and everything, you know, we get to a point sometimes that it's unbearable for us. And that's what I told Josiah. I said, Josiah, it's just too much now. It's just too much for me to take now. Because I had come to that point. It was just too much. It's just too much. It's just too much. See, there's things I tell you guys, but there's things that I don't tell you guys. And I don't know, maybe one day I'll be able to tell you guys some of these things. But we can't share every single thing that goes on in our life. You know, some things have to be private. But it's even with those things, it gets to be too much. And when I said that, you know, that verse, that God will not give us anything that we cannot bear, came back to me immediately when I said it. And see, that's the thing. When you're thinking that you cannot take it anymore, you see, that's when you, at least I do, that's when I run to God. And I up my prayers even more. And I'm taking a look. See, these are the things that are really affecting me. These are the things I need to pray about. I need to pray about this and give all of this to God. And I do. And then once you do that, then I get like this peace. It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. And see, it will be all right if we release things to God and allow God to help us, allow God to help us manage what's going on so that we can have peace. See, the problem comes when people feel so overwhelmed and I just can't take this and I just can't. Right. As long as I have to deal with it, I, in my own human strength, I cannot do it. Right. I can't, you know. But when you turn things over to God and you allow God to help you, that's just like the phrase. All of you, I'm sure, have heard it. It's been going around for well over a decade now. I remember when I was living in Chicago and people would say this, and I'd hear it out and about when I was working. You know, they would say, let go and let God. Let go and let God. And remember, what would Jesus do? They even had those rubber bands that people would wear. Those bands, all different colors made out of rubber. And they would have the WWJD, what would Jesus do? You know, as a reminder, when you're going through this and this, what would Jesus do to, you know, help us to assess our situation and behave in the proper way? You know what I mean? And so, yeah, what would Jesus do? If Jesus was in my situation, what would Jesus do? You know, and God, yes, let go. Let go of your situations and let God intervene and take control. Because that's when your life will start to go smooth. You'll start getting some peace and everything. It's when you hang on to things and we try doing things in our own human way, you know, and we're letting all the burden just fall on our shoulder and having to carry all these burdens, it gets to be too much. That's right. It gets to be too much. And so that's my update. This is really long, this video, but I haven't been around for a while. So yeah, it's just been not more bad news or anything, but it's just been with just everything that's going on. You just have to let everything sort itself out. You have to wait and so forth. And so this has just been a quiet period for me. Now, I will say, life has been going on wonderfully as in every other aspect. You know, Alex is coming over. He's going out in his pool and he's swimming, and we've been picking veggies from the garden already. And we've been enjoying our veggies, and we've been enjoying being out here, obviously. 4th of July was wonderful. I made this s'mores dip. It was so good. And then we had chips and salsa. And the boys had to work. Harry was off, but I don't know what he was doing that day. I don't know if he was visiting his mom or whatever. But Carly and I were sitting out here at the table. We're eating our chips and our dip and the s'mores dip and stuff, and we were playing Go Fish for, I don't know, maybe like a couple hours, hour and a half, something like that. It was hot. We had to go back in and take a little break, but you know, it's just been fun. 4th of July weekend, we grilled out almost every single day. One day, I think Saturday, we ate inside because I think it was supposed to rain that afternoon, and I didn't know if it would start raining while we were wanting to grill out, because that happens sometimes. You think you're gonna, you know, beat the rain, but you don't. So I just planned on eating indoors, and so it was nice. It was like 4 days of barbecuing. And, I mean, I could have done a vlog. I could have recorded all of that and everything, but it's just been, a time of just being to myself, you know, because that's part of, letting go and letting God. You take your hands off the situation and everything, and you just have to just let things go. You have to just find rest and peace and just relax. And that's what I needed to do for myself, and I just didn't want to be bothered being on camera. As I said, I started out making vlogs. I don't know how many times. But then when I would think about it through the rest of the day, like that day that Carly and I were sitting out here and playing Go Fish and eating, you know, I could have picked up the camera and showed that and showed we were having fun. But I was having such a good time. I was having such a peaceful time. It's like, last thing I wanted to do was pick up the camera, you know, because after everything that's been going on, it's just like that time of rest and that time of peace and enjoyment. It's like I just wanted to just enjoy it all. That's the thing. And sometimes we need to do that too, in the time that, you know, we're going through hard times. And when you get those moments of reprieve and you have some peace and tranquility and everything, I think a person should just rest in that. Not be worried about, you know, things, oh, I should go in my house and do this or that, or there was this project I wanted to work on. Let those things go. Let those things go and just enjoy that moment of reprieve, because it's in that moment of reprieve you're getting your second wind, you know, because you never know what's coming next. That's the thing. You never know what's coming next, and hopefully nothing's coming next. Hopefully this has been it for 2017. So anyway, I'm going to put out a separate video from this one. Maybe I'm going to go back through my camera files here when I upload to my computer. I will see what maybe garden updates that I have, so I can show you what my garden looked like before it turned into a jungle out there, because it's like a jungle out there now. So that's my update, and I'll see you guys next time. You guys take care. Bye-bye.